Joining us now from Owerri in Imo State on the state of the economy is Dr. Chijoke Ekechukwu. He's an economist and former Director General, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Owerri. Back home. Now, well, let's look at this projection of 7% growth rate by 2027 as part of the $1 trillion economy being projected by 2030. Currently, Nigeria's GDP stands around 3% or 3.4%, depending on the figures you're looking at. Your thoughts? Are the economic indices currently indicative of the fact that Nigeria is truly on track?
I agree that we're on track. Listening to some of the things said by the finance minister, indeed, we're on track. If you consider that we have a growth rate, economic growth rate of about 3% right now, and in fact, IMF just projected a 3.4% for the rest of the year. They have seen certain trajectory that could make them increase their projections for the year. When you also look at our export revenues, we are seeing a lot happening in that area, and knowing that some products are beginning to gain traction in the areas of cocoa that, has tripled the output of cocoa in export business. We have seen a lot of other exports increasing. If you talk about things like gas, fertilizer, and all that. So we see that all these are happening, and we expect that if we continue on this growth rate, we may be able to get to a point where we'll say, yes, it is possible to achieve 7% growth in 2027. Otherwise, I know that the reforms have actually helped in terms of making available a lot of funds for the kind of growth we expect. But on the issues of fiscal discipline, I still think we haven't gotten anywhere yet in terms of fiscal discipline, because we see that there appears to be some kind of lack of control on the ways funds are spent in all arms of government. And so when you talk about from the states to every other executive to the assembly, National Assembly, the judiciary, you see that we are still not in control of how much it is spent. So we hear about expenditures that we never heard about in the budget, and they are getting approval for them. And so these are some of the things that get us worried to the extent that we wonder if we have some level of fiscal discipline and the kind of growth rate we are moving with right now, then we can achieve some results. But until we get that level of discipline, fiscal discipline, we may not just be able to achieve what we plan to do.
Dr. Ekechukwu, you seem to align with the WTO DG, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who says that President Tinubu should be credited for stabilizing the economy, but she's warning that the next step must be growth with safety nets. Now, let me ask you, because we have seen safety nets in Nigeria. They've been very controversial with diversion of funds and malfeasance. But so when she says the next step should be safety nets for Nigeria, do you agree with her? And how do we structure such safety nets? What should it look like?
Okay, so I also agree that the next level is to continue on our growth pattern, our growth trajectory. If we have stabilized the economy, which is what is going on right now, it's not as if we have perfected it. We have to ensure that all state areas, state governments should actually consider themselves as SBOs. Let them look at themselves as institutions on their own that can actually incur costs and generate a lot of revenue. There are a lot of opportunities around the states, and so we need to ensure that states should actually ensure that they take competitive advantage of whatever thing they have. Some states produce certain aspects of things, and some others produce some others. Let them concentrate on what they can produce and put so much effort in making sure that they are self-sustaining, and then, of course, that way the federal government also has a reduced burden on their own to be able to grow the economy. Right now, talking about the states, if we see every state having something like greenhouse farms, even if we say there are insecurities in some parts of the country, but if we have some areas called greenhouse farms and we concentrate on these areas, and you see that the food insecurity we've been afraid of will be a thing of the past. And so it is better for us to get started. And when we get started, of course, it becomes a growth pattern. Again, we can have industrial park for every state. If you decide to grow an industrial park, something like industrial layout, so to say. Now, in that park, industrial park, you'll see that all the companies that are going to join the industrial park are going to have shared facilities. So in other words, they are going to have shared electricity, shared water, shared road network, and things like that. And that way, their cost of production will be far reduced. And if that is so, they are going to be competitive, and it will be easy for us to start having productivity, high productivity again, coming from all the state capitals, all the states, sorry, contributing to the entire growth of the economy.
Right, Dr. Ekechukwu, let's put you on hold and bring that report where the DG of the WTO, as a World Trade Organization, says President Bola Tinubu's reforms have truly helped in stabilizing Nigeria's economy. That report now.
So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they're feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed with Mr. President.
Yes, indeed. So the question of how to build social safety nets is the issue right now. Back to you, Dr. Chijoke Ekechukwu, staying on the issue of social safety nets. Well, the DG of the WTO is echoing what President Tinubu has said, that our economy is better positioned to attract both domestic and foreign private investment. Let's look at that also while we talk about this social safety nets and how best, to carry it out in a way that will actually impact on the grassroots.
Okay, talking about the safety nets, even taking it on, is the fact that if we have saved a lot of money from the subsidy, which was actually mentioned that the savings will be used to improve the lives of the people. Imagine where we identified the various things that actually take away a lot of money from people's pockets. Let's talk about healthcare. Let's talk about education. Let's even talk about those two. Is it really possible? And I think it is. Is it really possible to ensure that people go to hospitals, especially the general hospitals, and they walk in there, take their treatments, and come out? Is it really possible? Yes, it is possible, because some countries are experiencing that. Now, for education, is it possible for primary and secondary education to be indeed free all over the country? Yes, that is possible. So we need to also ensure that those safety nets mentioned can actually be achieved, So, so those are the ways to make the people.
Right. Okay. I do apologize. I thought you had finished on that point. But you made a very valid point when you spoke about the states, the subnationals, with the savings from subsidy. And just recently we heard the president say the governors must wet the grass more. A metaphor for saying you must do more for the people in the grassroots. But let's turn our attention to some of the sectors that were highlighted by the finance minister today, boosting this economic growth in Nigeria. He's talking about trade, communications, construction, rail transport, electricity, and crop production. He says agriculture is bouncing back. Any surprises with those sectors?
Yeah, agriculture can bounce back, but we're still not anywhere close to where we used to be. We know that until we resolve the issues of insecurity in the country, we may not be where we used to be. But gradually, we're bouncing back. And if we're talking about transportation, yes, it is possible that with the railroad transportation that is coming up here and there, we can actually say we're improving on it. These are the things, because since we already have the stability that we, especially in the FX market, it is possible that trade will continue to start growing again, because that instability in that market actually made it so difficult for trade to grow, a lot of instability, and so many people left that market. But we are seeing the export market increasing and growing so much. That is actually a good omen for the country, especially if our export size starts increasing. What that means is that our trade balance is going to remain positive, and then these are the things that will make the economy grow all the time.
It's very optimistic, and more importantly for every Nigerian, or most Nigerians, if not all, to begin to experience, this good tidings as far as the economy is concerned. Dr. Chijoke Ekechukwu is economist and former DG, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, helping us to analyze these issues.